This is Real to Real Podcast. Real stories, real sports. And here's
We always
your host,
talk about
WNBA.
trailblazers and pioneers here on Real to Real. And what we have today is definitely a trailblazer and a pioneer. This young lady is that and then some. She's a state champion at Phoebus High School in Hampton, Virginia. She was the National Prep Player of the Year. She was an All-American at Georgia. She's a four-time SEC honoree. She played in the Final Four. She played 7 seasons in the WNBA, 2 seasons in the ABL. She's been an assistant coach at her alma mater, Georgia, UVA, Auburn, and the Atlanta Dream. And this last tidbit, who everybody told me to mention, by the way, she still remains the Virginia High School League, male or female, career scoring leader at 3,290 points. And it's my pleasure, my honor. I'm so humbled. I've been trying to get this young lady on my show for a long time and talk some hoops in life. And we have WNBA.Frett on the show. LaKeisha, I know you're busy and you have a lot of things going on. I really appreciate you getting me in spending some time with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here. I thought once we got connected, it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it did.
It got worked out. I definitely have more free time than usual. So I'm happy to be here with you and just
awesome,
chatting it up.
And so many people want to hear your story. I mean, it's funny because people know your story, but they want to hear it from you. And we want to revisit everything that you've done. I mentioned those 3,000 points. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but you were born in Cali, LaKeisha.
Yeah.
You moved to Virginia around 10, around that age.
Mm-hmm.
So just talk about growing in Cali and then moving to Virginia. What was that whole thing like?
Well, I mean, I was born my dad was in the military, so we moved around quite a bit. I was born in California. I spent quite a bit of my childhood, though, Killeen, Texas, at Fort Hood. And then after that, we made a couple more short trips other places, and then we kind of just planted in Virginia at Fort Monroe. And then at that point, we were, my brother, I have an older brother, is 5 years older than me, and we're starting to get into middle school, high school. So, our parents made a sacrifice of allowing us to kind of stay put. And my dad, he continued to do tours other places, but my mom held it down for us, and we were starting to get into sports and things like that. So Hampton, Virginia became home for me.
Yeah, you mentioned, we talked off air, you didn't play organized ball until 9th grade just because of no JV. It was tough for women and young ladies to play, but you still played on base at Fort Monroe, right?
Yeah,
to play basketball.
Shout out to everybody on Fort Monroe at the YMCA.
For sure.
That where I got started and I played. Things have changed so much in women's basketball. For girls basketball, it's amazing where things are now, that you have actually leagues or places or AU teams, just multiple teams where young girls can go play. But during my time, I had the YMCA, played a lot with the guys. They may have been 1 or 2 other females in there playing during that time. But it's definitely where I got my start. Right. And I think it helped me because it's different when you're playing against guys a lot, I recall being pretty shy. Like, there was too many people in the gym. I'll be like, nah, I don't want to play.
You don't want to do it, right?
Yeah. But I was, it helped. I think it really helped my competitive spirit. And, if you out there playing with the guys, once you do start playing against other girls, like you feel like you can handle it.
Yeah, a lot of female athletes tell me that if you can play with like older brothers or guys in the neighborhood, and once you get on the court, it's like, I've already done this. I can go out and dominate. So when you got to Phoebus, a young man by the name of Mike Tallon was there. What was that like, playing organized ball for the first time at Phoebus with Mike Tallon?
It was I'll never forget that day. My oldest brother, first of all, was like, no, wait. He was, I guess I could say, my first agent on telling me when I should go and, inquire about playing ball for the high school and stuff like that. But my dad took me up there. We walked in the door, met Coach Tallon, and at that time, like you said, they didn't have a JV team.
Right.
And, I just wanted to play. So he welcomed us with open arms. And, that was the beginning of a great thing for me and Phoebus High School and Coach Tallon. I mean, I think he's a great coach. I owe a lot of what I was able to accomplish to him because he did a great job of teaching me the fundamentals.
Right.
And more importantly, he challenged me. He didn't care if I was the best player or not. Like he would literally sit me down or take me out of the game if he thought I was just coasting.
Right.
But I'm just thankful that I had a coach, a high school coach like that, because he really put in so much time with me to just perfect my craft.
And and I think, what was it? Well, Nikki Reed was there. That might have been 3 years before you got there. They were so close to winning the state championship, right?
Yeah. So I think I just missed Nikki Reed. But the other thing that, I have to credit, like I was there with Monica Hart. Now, some of them had gone on and got married, but Keisha Reese, Peaches. So they were a veteran team. And I was the young buck. So being able to play with them my first year really helped me to be out there because they couldn't just focus on me. But just having a veteran players on a high school team, it was an advantage for me. And I appreciate them because they welcomed me with open arms and taught me how to go out there and play. And so they definitely allowed me to get free and score some points.
A lot of points. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. First, we're going to talk about, okay, so you get there in 9th grade, and then 2 years later, you get a state championship run.
Yeah. Talk
about that because, I mean, Phoebus, at the time, didn't have a football championship. I don't think they had a basketball. So basically, that might have been one of the first championships Phoebus ever had. So just talk about that state championship run. Was that your junior year, right?
Yeah, I believe so. You're going to have to help me a little bit with the thing. It's been a while.
It's so long ago, right?
But I thought we probably could have got another one, but I'm happy with the one we did get. It's definitely, any championship you win, regardless on what level, is something that's hard to attain. Right. When you just go out there, now that I've been a coach, the matchups and the nerves and everything else that goes into winning a championship and just staying focused. But yeah, it was a great run. I was happy that we were able to do it for Phoebus. Right. My teammates and I we put in a lot of work that year. And it was a special year because that was the same year also that I think it was like Bethel, Iverson, Tony Rutland.
Rutland, that's my guy, man. Oh my
I'll never forget that.
I forgot about that. That was the same year. You're right.
Yeah, going up there. So it was a lot of excitement just in basketball in general for our area, the Hampton area. So that was a cool time. I have like fond memories during that time.
And hey, Rutland's my guy. I don't know AI personally, but we're going to talk about this. She scored more points than AI and my man Rutland. I'm just going to say it. 3,290 points, Lakeisha. Like I said in the open, you still remain the all-time leading scorer, whether it's male or female. I know you out there playing and you're in your element and you're just balling. You don't thinking about that. But what does that mean? All these years later, you still lead the state of Virginia in scoring. And again, like I talked about earlier, she's not going to say it, but she's a legend. Not only in 757, the state of Virginia and beyond, but to have all those points, what was it? What was the whole mindset going into just putting all those points up?
I think, I definitely sit here now, even when I'm watching women's basketball, like I have more of an appreciation now than I do then of what I was able to accomplish, even, hearing that number. I pride myself on, I put in the hard work. But I think what I have the most pride about is just, I thought I was efficient. I didn't feel like I needed a lot of shots to get the points. Right. And that just goes back to, again, just the time I put in, the time Coach Tallon put in with me in the gym. So it means a lot. It definitely means a lot. And it's just a reward of just all the work I put into. But the other thing is, like I said, I was playing on a veteran team when I came in as a freshman. So that allowed me, without a doubt, to put up a little bit more points.
Right.
So I started early. I started in the 9th grade. I was a starter. So I got a head start on some people.
That's still amazing. That's still amazing. We talked about this off camera. I know him personally. I know you know him personally.
Mhm.
The great Boo Williams. What did
Oh,
he
yeah.
mean to you? You play AAU for him. There's a documentary coming out that you're a part of, and rightfully so, because you did. You played under Boo. But what did Boo mean to you? You're scoring all these points and you're winning state championships, but you play AAU for Boo. So what did Boo Williams mean to you in high school?
Man, like Boo meant opportunity.
Right.
It gave you a chance to compete at a high level, not only in the state of Virginia, but against other players that you may hear about
Later on.
that represented other states.
Right.
Because at that time, with AAU, you didn't have people like crossing borders of states.
Right.
It was like a lot of pride, like Carolina Flight, they were from Carolina. And then if their best player, you knew you were going to get an opportunity to match up against them. Right. So he provided like opportunity for me, because I didn't do, Coach Tallon, he wasn't big on like the individual camps and stuff like that. And he was still kind of protective for me in what tournaments I played in and things like that. And I thank him for it, because at that time, I didn't think it was like overly necessary. But Boo gave me the opportunity to showcase my talent nationally.
Right.
And not only that, but looking back, because at that time, he was mainly with the boys.
The boys, right.
And then myself, Taj, and other players came along.
Yep.
And he was like, wait, man, I think it's like we may have
we got a squad.
Team
We got a
here,
squad.
We may have something here.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of the start. And it's since then for his girls basketball teams.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's been so many young ladies that's been a part of it that's playing on the national level now.
Right.
And, they're known on the EYBL as one of the best, one of the, programs out there that you're going to see. And like, who's playing for Boo, So it definitely, that was the start of it. So I'm just so thankful that I had the opportunity to just, compete in the opportunity, because I don't know if I wasn't playing for Boo, would I get the award of National Player of the Year? I don't know. So it definitely gives you a chance to get your name out there and compete and go against the best.
Yep.
See what you're made of.
And that's why I called you, a pioneer, because you were the first to be the National Player of the Year on the women's side. And, you picked Georgia, but I always wanted to know, and I'm so humbled to be able to ask you this.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, I know everybody wanted you, Lakeisha.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, but why? What was it about Georgia? And why didn't you, ODU? Come on, I went to ODU. Was ODU in the mix? I mean, what was the whole recruiting? I know the recruiting process was crazy, but what was the whole recruiting process like for you? And why'd you pick Georgia?
Okay, I was like, I don't know. This is the first time I've had a chance to really talk about this. So
yeah, I mean, I haven't heard much about why you picked Georgia.
Yeah,
Old Dominion. Let me see. Old Dominion wasn't really there yet, because I got there in '95. When Tisha and everybody got there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what about she ran up the road. Why didn't y'all recruit? But I mean, I know Georgia was a bigger program at the time, obviously.
Yeah.
So what was it about Georgia?
Well, the recruiting process was and I think I started to narrow it down. So my last 4 schools was Georgia, Virginia, Vanderbilt, and Penn State. So those were the 4.
Virginia, rightfully so. Virginia was hot at the time.
Yep. So those were the 4 visits that I took official visits to. And for me, it really, I think, came down to like just with the people that I connected to on their staff at that time. Right. For whatever reason, that I just connected with them. Okay. And then from there, for my visits, and Georgia was, I had a great relationship with Carla Williams, who's now the AD at the University of Virginia.
Virginia, right. I read about that.
And then, once I got on campus, Coach Landers, the one thing that he didn't promise me anything. And that stood out to me. It was more like, if you want to come play ball and have fun, then come to Georgia.
Right.
And so I think I had a lot of respect for him, is that, like, I don't know. I know I was good and I was blessed with talent, but I guess I was like, going to that next level.
Right. You
You
didn't know.
still like,
Yeah,
I had in my mind, like, I gotta go myself.
Right.
So him not really promising me anything, I think was intriguing, or I like that approach, I should say. So that's kind of how, it all went down after my visits and things like that. But I did, I had some great schools.
Yeah.
And again, I just think those schools, I were able to connect with the people on the staff, and it just went from there. I would like to say this, is that I had an awesome career at Georgia. I played in 2 Final Fours, one
SEC Final Fours, averaged 15 points per game. Let me just throw that in there. Yeah, you had a good career. Yep.
So it was an awesome experience, but I would say hindsight, the only thing, once that was all said and done, is that I wish that, I was closer to home for all the people that supported me.
Right.
I wish they were more of a part of it. That was the only regret, but everything, to this day, like, I'm so thankful for that opportunity, but I wish, like, family and friends and everybody in the 757, had a chance to see me play. So let me give you a quick little thing that happened. So once I at that time, what they had, the Olympics, and that's when the WNBA and the ABL, you had 2 leagues that kind of started to get formed based off of all the hoopla off of the Olympics that was in Atlanta that year, and I was still on campus at Georgia. And so these leagues were starting to form right as I was graduating. Mm-hmm. So they had 2 different leagues, the ABL and the WNBA. And basically players, it was a distinct difference, like the time of the year that they played. The WNBA kind of had the same schedule, but the ABL played like more of a regular season.
Right.
But for their top picks, they allowed us to pick where we would go play.
Oh, wow.
So that was intriguing to me.
Yeah.
So, I was finishing up my career at Georgia. And I just mentioned, my only regret was like, man, I wish people at home was more of a part of what I was doing here at Georgia. So at that time, they had the the Richmond Rage.
Richmond Rage, I remember that.
I was like, okay, I'm going with the ABL. I'm going back home.
Yeah.
I
think did Dawn Staley play for them?
They switched it up. They moved the team to Philly.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, man, right? I had it all set up. Like, I'm going back home. And then the next thing, they moved the team to Philly, which was great. I ended up loving Philly. And I did play a couple of years with Dawn Staley there. So it turned out to still be a good experience. But I was just trying to reconnect, with the 757.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, that's that. When you go off to college, you don't think about that, and you go all the way to Georgia. You probably could have went to Virginia, but Georgia was a better program. You went to 2 Final Fours, like you said.
Yeah,
averaged 15 points per game. Like you said, you played in the WBL. So the 1999 draft, Lakeisha, comes up, and you get drafted by the LA Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
What's going through your mind? I mean, you're leaving one league that they had to fold because of financial issues. Then you're going to the WNBA that's sanctioned by the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to LA. So, like, what was that whole process like?
Yeah, I didn't, once the ABL folded, you kind of in limbo a little bit because, it wasn't just myself, but a whole league of players. And how do we all transition, or do we transition over to this other league? So it was a time of just a little bit of uncertainty at that time. Right. But I think at that time I was just, thankful for the opportunity to be brought into the WNBA after everything that had happened with the ABL, really. So,
Yeah,
when you're young, you don't know what's next. You just go with the flow. You just thankful. And once you get in, you just try to ball out, get you a position. That's one thing about the pros, like, and it's not a lot of teams. I think the league still, for other young ladies to have opportunities, you need more teams or expand the rosters a little bit. So it's a grind, it's a fight, to make a team and just to stay in the league.
So you go from LA to Sacramento to a player I'm familiar with. When I was in college, Tisha Penichero was at Old Dominion.
Yeah.
Who was like just doing no looks and behind, through the legs. I know you saw when you were a teammate of hers. So what was that whole experience like? Tisha was amazing in college. So you get to play with her in Sacramento.
Yeah. Yeah. So, till this day, she's an agent now, actually representing young ladies. So doing a great job out there. So shout out to Tisha. But we also formed a friendship. And because before that, I think we crossed paths in USA basketball.
Okay.
In one of the tournaments, I think in Taiwan. So we hung out.
Okay.
Masha Guana.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So became friends with them. And I remember actually when I was, it may have been my senior year, we came back, Georgia played ODU. They kicked our tail. I ain't gonna lie, I was pissed about that.
Wait a minute. Did you? I was in school. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I remember that because it was like me coming home and we lost.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah, I'm a competitor, so I'm like,
you didn't like that one, did you?
Nah.
Yeah, ODU was tough when I was
they were really good. Really
Marsha
good.
Guana, Andrade, all those girls.
Yeah. So shout out to them. But and then from there, just have an opportunity to play with her. She's a great person. So
yeah, she is.
You just develop friendships. That's the people. That's what it's all about.
So you play with you play at Sacramento with Tisha, Charlotte, then you play in the Big Apple in New York, Lakeisha. So coaching, it starts becoming a thing for you now, right? So, I mean, when did coaching start developing in your mindset in terms of, well, my career is over? Like, because when did you start thinking about coaching? Because after you finished, basketball, you started coaching, right? At your alma mater at Georgia, right?
Yeah. So that it just didn't happen. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm thinking about coaching. So every once in a while, I would get a call from maybe like one of my former assistant coaches that coached me, and they would be like, you want to coach? And I'm like, no. I thought I always understood the game, and it always came easy to me.
Right.
So I'm still playing. So I get this call from Coach Landers. I think he had one of the other assistants kind of vet me out.
Trying to get you, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I will say, I don't think I was his first phone call, but at this point, I had purchased a home. So during the off season, I was in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I purchased a home, and so I would be in the Atlanta area during the off season. And so I get a phone call, and he's like, hey, I'm in a tough situation. He had an assistant coach that left in October, which is right around the corner, from the season starting. So it's like, I just need someone to come help me. I know you stay here in Atlanta. I know you're going to wonder about, where you're going to stay. And so at that time, his house, huge house, he got a whole basement. It's like an apartment. He was like, for the time being, you got a place to stay. And Coach Landers and I was just with him at the Final Four.
Right.
And we talk on a regular basis. So that's my guy.
Right. For sure.
So much love for him. So we still have a great relationship. Even during college, like I said, Carla Williams, our connection brought me there, but I formed a great bond with Coach Landers as well once I got on campus and stuff. So so at that point I was coming towards the end of my career, and I was with New York at the time, and I was like, okay, I'll do it, So I did it, and I didn't think I would enjoy it as much, but I was like, okay, this is cool. I was enjoying being a mentor, giving back to the game, what I got out of it.
Right.
And I just kind of fell into it after that. And then I think after the season, I ended up staying as an assistant and retired. And I've been fortunate since then. It's been like 16 years
Right.
that I've been coaching women's basketball, and just grateful because I've been at some great institutions, coached some great talent. The young ladies that I've been able to coach, like they've taught me so much, and I hope, that they've gotten just as much from me. But it's been a ride. It's definitely been a ride.
I know it has. You went to your alma mater, then you came back home in some sorts. You went to Virginia.
Yeah.
And then you went to Auburn, which a familiar face, right?
Yeah.
Boo Williams' sister Terry.
Yeah.
Brought you back. I gotta ask you though, do you ever I know you, like I said, you're humble, you don't really like to do this, but you ever, like, if you're trying to coach somebody, you ever say, look, let me pop in one of my film, my tapes, and say, look, this is what I did. I'm the all-time leading scorer. I mean, because a lot of times players will look at coaches like, oh, what are they talking about? And they don't understand a lot of times that these coaches were dogs too. They could play. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, I've never done that, but okay. I do. When I still can shoot.
I know, yeah.
And if I had to do, someone be like, oh, let's go one-on-one. And I'm like, you sure you want to do that?
Right, exactly.
There was one young lady, I ain't gonna mention her name, but she wanted to do it, and they wanted to pull out the film, and record, with the camera and record.
Right,
and it didn't go well for her.
It didn't.
But it didn't go well for her.
You took care of that, right? You took care of that.
I can still, shoot the ball and pretty efficient, so I would go out there and try to challenge them in that way, but definitely didn't bring out the film on them. But, as a coach, I always try to stay in shape enough to be able to still go out and demonstrate and things like that.
Please, yeah. I'm gonna send you some film so you can show. I'm gonna send you some film so you can show the players. I'm gonna do that for you personally. No, but seriously, you went to Auburn with Terry Williams. Boo's sister was the coach, and then Lakeisha, you go to the WNBA where you played. Atlanta Dream. You had Elizabeth Williams, who's another 757 product. You coached her. Talk about going to the next level in coaching.
Yeah, so that was crazy. So the opportunity, presented itself, and I'm just thankful for that. But just how it is in this business, just the right people, the connections. So I was happy to have the opportunity there. But it was great. I mean, that's like the highest level.
Right. Exactly.
And there would be times in the game I'm like, I'm coaching, but I'm a fan too. Exactly. Because these young ladies just playing, especially in the WNBA, they can just flat out do things that our era couldn't do, just naturally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're bigger, they're faster, they're taller. Like they can do some things. So you're watching, but at the same time, like they're coachable. They want your feedback. They want to be coached. They want to get better. So it's cool just pouring into them. But they're more so, they're adults.
Right.
So it's a little bit different from college, but just being on that level, and it's like, I think at this point, I've been coaching, whether it's through playing basketball myself or being a coach. I've done quite a bit in women's basketball.
Oh, you have?
Almost all there is to do as a coach or a player. So that's very fulfilling, and never did I thought, things would come full circle. For example, me playing at Georgia and then coming around and coaching.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Those type of things. So it's been quite a ride for me.
It's been awesome. This has been great, by the way. So we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it with this segment called Keeping It Real. The name of the show is Real to Real. I call this segment Keeping It Real. I just throw some quick hitters at you. The first thing that comes to your mind, you just throw it back. You ready?
Okay.
We'll have some fun. We'll have some fun with it. Now, I know you've dominated a lot of people in your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But who was the one person that got you, that made you double, second guess yourself and say, look, I gotta go back to the gym because this player got me.
Okay, can I give you two? So
you can give me as many as you need.
And then I gotta give you one in the pros. Okay, college, it would be Shamika Holscroft.
Oh, Tennessee. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes.
And in the pros, it'd be Cheryl Swoops.
Those are two that there's obvious answers right there.
Yeah. Because Swoops had the deep range and she can extend you so far. And then one of the quickest first steps.
Wow.
So it was like, I know she's going to shoot 20 times, but all I can do is put a hand up.
Wow. Okay. That's the two good ones. I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Our pickup game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need 5. Now this goes back from high school, college, AAU, USA basketball, the pros. Give me. If you're going to a pickup game, you need 5. Who you taking?
Who I'm taking?
Anybody that you've encountered, either played with, played against, seen. Who you taking in the pickup game?
I'm a loyal person. Like I'm taking my Final Four team from Georgia.
Okay, that works. Okay.
I'm like, we were the number 1 recruiting class. I'm riding with my girl.
Hey, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. Yeah. I'll take that. All right, give me a great Boo Williams story. I mean, you close with the family. Everybody knows Boo. I know the documentary is coming out, but give me a story that nobody really knows about Boo.
You know what? They asked me the same thing. I didn't have one, but it's just
really?
like
they asked you that too.
Yeah,
and you don't have it. Nobody. You don't have a Boo Williams story.
I don't have a Boo Williams story, but Boo himself. I mean, it's just like you gotta just know him.
He's Boo.
Yeah, he's Boo.
And I'm gonna give you one. How about this? So
okay.
I call Boo. I'm a member with a Hall of Fame committee with him or whatever.
Yeah.
I called Boo. I said, Boo, we got a meeting next week. We start talking, right? So about 2 or 3 minutes into the conversation, he says, "Hey, Boo, I got off the phone." I said, "What?" I got Michael Jordan on the other line. I said, "Okay." So just to hear him say Michael Jordan was calling him while I was on the phone. That's my Boo Williams story for you. That's crazy.
That's the thing about Boo. He probably said it like it was nothing.
He said it like he's like, "Hey, Boo, I gotta go." I said, "What's up, man?" MJ on the other line. I said, "MJ." He said, "Yeah, Michael Jordan." I said, "All right, man. I'll talk to you later." I haven't heard from him since, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying that's Boo for you.
But let me just take this opportunity to say that's what I love about Boo.
Great guy, man.
Like he hasn't changed over the years.
Never.
And I'm gonna keep it real because in this AAU stuff and on both sides, there's a lot of stuff going on out there.
It is.
And Boo, he's just doing what he does, you know. So I appreciate him for that, and just that's why I want, you know, his story to come out.
I do
because
too.
I don't think people even see past what the Boo Williams tournament.
Oh man,
like there's so much more behind the scenes, and I'm sure I something from watching.
Oh yeah, I mean, even before he had his sportsplex, you all were playing in different schools, and he had go to Keepin, Phoebus, Bethel, Hampton, all over the area.
Before that, we were outside, and we thought it was everything
at Eaton, right? Exactly,
the outside courts, and it had lights.
I know exactly.
So that was another organized, place we had to play, and it was nothing like that. Like you go out there, Iverson's out there, Tony, like everybody from the area. So that was cool.
That was cool. All right, 3,290 points. I mentioned that earlier in high school, right? And by the way, I'm going to say this. We talked about it off air. Diamond Johnson, who's now at NC State, had an opportunity to break that record. I personally don't think it's going to be broken, but records are meant to be broken, right?
Absolutely.
So you scored those points. Give me, was there ever a point? Do you remember one point that stands out in your career in those 3,000 points? Is there like one point or bucket that you just remember?
No, it doesn't. I do recall like a couple of times, like I may have had like 50 points or some, high number of points, something like that. So that's probably what, would stand out to me more so than anything. I wasn't like necessarily always like just always checking how many points I had,
Right, for sure.
But I was, dialed in when I was out there,
I know you were.
And and still to this day, like I'm watching, but I just like trying to be efficient. That was my whole thing.
Yep.
Like just being efficient and not needing like a high volume amount of shots, Right. But shout out to Diamond, like.
Oh yeah. I got a chance to see her in person. Yeah, I saw her in person at Phoebus. Yeah.
And I've seen her work ethic and the time she puts in. And I was like, oh, she gonna break that record.
You
She gonna break that record. But I would have been happy for her.
I know you would have.
Because she started putting up big numbers early, and that was the thing. I was fortunate to play so early in my career.
Right.
So I had time to accumulate those numbers. But, and we talked about this a little bit off air. She shoots the three.
Oh, yeah.
And I was not a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, you weren't shooting that back then.
So,
right.
that I've seen her come down and go pop, pop. Like, that's 6 right there.
Yep.
So, shout out to her because she definitely, I think, would have got the record.
And shout out to Shonda Bailey because she's the head coach at Hampton High now.
Yeah.
Me and her were going back and forth. I was like, she's not breaking the record. She's like, yes, she is. I say, she's not breaking that record. But she was close. If she would have stayed, who knows what would have happened.
Because you got to think about it. Like at that time, she was freshman, sophomore, what have you.
Yep.
She's going to get better. Like,
exactly.
And she is a scorer. She's on another level, like the things she would do with the ball and things like that. So.
All right, last two for you. What motivates you now? Because you played and what motivates you on the court. You said you were a different person on the court than off the court. So what motivates you now?
It's all the same.
Yeah.
With some of my friends there in coaching, it's still part of the tree that I come from.
Right.
And it started with Coach Tallon, like the work ethic. And it just continued with Coach Landers.
Right.
And the time I was at Georgia, but I'm a worker.
Right.
I just try to be a good person, but the part of me, I'm really starting to learn more about myself. Like I'm a little high strung,
right.
When it comes to working, regardless of what I'm doing as a coach, and I want to do a good job. The one thing about me, I didn't always go and look at my numbers and stats and stuff, but I definitely recall during my time in high school and in college, I just wanted to be the best.
There you go.
That would drive me. If I was going out there, I wanted to be the best player on the floor.
Right.
So that's the same. That's just part of who I am. But when you are mentored and you're coached by coaches that expect that out of you, it just becomes a part of who you are. And I know that's true because even now, I see my teammates and, they're doing big time things. Right. They're real estate agents selling buku houses. Another teammate of mine, she's working for the SEC conference. And everybody, they're principals. Mm-hmm. It's once you put in the work on the court and you get past a certain point, I feel like you build up this confidence. And in life, it's if I can run 25 sprints,
you can do anything, right?
Yeah, the physical part, once you master the physical part, everything else, then it sharpens your mind mentally.
It does.
So then it's if I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get some work done, whatever I'm doing, I can do that.
You can do that. That's right. That's so true. Last question. I'm gonna get you out on this one. Okay. You kind of mentioned it earlier, but you being the person that you are from this 757, from the state of Virginia, what advice? I mean, because people are looking up to you. I mean, that number is never going to go away, right? 3,000 points. What advice do you give people that are trying to make it? Not necessarily scoring that many points, but just making it, trying to make it to that next level and trying to make it to the level after that.
Yeah. What I'm going to say is going to be very simple. I've been coaching. I played the game and I've been coaching for 16 years.
Right.
But, and you can please on this to see if you agree or not. But when I'm watching women's basketball, there are certain players that easily stand out to me. Right. And let's just talk about hitting shots.
Right.
They stand out to me.
Right.
And if I ask one of their coaches or something, they're simply putting in the work.
That's it.
And sometimes we live in a different day and age where, young people go in the gym, put on some music, videotape like 15 minutes of their workout.
Exactly.
Do another 15 minutes of something else.
And that's it.
Dancing probably to the music.
Right.
There's no way you're not doing some dance, right?
Right, exactly.
So, I would tell anybody that's trying to, go to the next level or just be successful out there on the court, put in the work. Like, I'm not talking about you have to be in the gym for an hour, but if you're going to be in there for 30 minutes, work. Like, put in the work. And then when you out there, just play hard. And to me, you will separate yourself. You will separate yourself from the others. So there's no way that you can go out and anything you do and be successful and not put in the work.
There's no substitute for hard work. That's what they say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that would be it. But it's a different time.
Right.
They have so many distractions, friends.
It is.
Hanging out, cell phone, all kind of stuff going on. But if you got to sacrifice. So that's one thing I feel like, I did sacrifice quite a bit, to try to achieve the things that I wanted to in life. So, yeah.
Listen, this has been an honor for me, just living in the 757, hearing your name all the time. People wanting to hear this story. This is amazing. I really appreciate this. And I'm going to let you know when all this posts on social media.
Please do.
This is awesome. I really appreciate this, man. This is great.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, but at this point in my life, like the area, although I'm down here in Georgia now, but the area is just dear to my heart.
I know.
And every time I come home, it feels good that they still like know what you did and know your name.
Feel good. Yeah.
Or they still recognize you when you come home.
Right.
But not just for myself, but I have so much pride. You should see when you run into somebody from the 757, you just let them know the 757.
It's always like that. And I'm not from this area, but if I meet people and they be like, I live in, because my daughter went to Bethel. Oh, you went to school's AI. It's just like you can go anywhere in the country.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. This area is amazing. And I tell people this. You all motivate me. Like when I wanted to interview you motivated me because I'm like the things that you did is just so impressive that when I was researching you, all these points and everything you're doing, this area just motivates me, and that's why I love this area so much because everybody's so humble and down to earth. People don't want to understand that. Like when you talk to an AI or a Rutland or a Tyrod or Ronald Curry, everybody's just so down to earth and humble.
Yeah, it might be something in the water.
It has to be.
We are, and let me, if I have a chance, just speak on this. Like a lot of people, would say, oh, she doesn't brag, so let me tell you what she's done and things like that. Right. But I've always been a person of action.
Right.
And the reason why is because I just feel so blessed.
Absolutely.
And basketball I know I was blessed with a talent to play the game, and it's done so much for me in my life, taking me places I could never imagine, getting me an education that I work for. So the part about being humble is just realizing that I've been blessed.
That's what
so I know it's not just all about me going out there. I was definitely blessed with the athletic ability to go out there and do those things. So that's part of it, but there is a part inside that's like that's that competitive, like it's
never gonna go away. It's never gonna go away. But again, Lakeisha, I really appreciate this, and I will keep in touch with you, let you know when this drops, and I'm gonna catch you down the road. Anytime you come back in the area, let me know.
I need one of those T-shirts right there.
Oh, I'm gonna hook you up. You up. Just let me know.
Okay.
I'm gonna take care of you. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by La Vida Agency. Protect, prepare, plan.